The Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci is well known for many things, including her mysterious smile. The master's picture of the unidentified woman is not the only one of his mystifying creations, though. One painting, in particular, has been shrouded in mystery for centuries, and that is Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper. Created in 1495 through 1498, the Last Supper depicts Jesus declaring that one of his apostles will betray him, and later institutes the Eucharist. However, it was the portrayal of the 12 disciples and the companion of the painting that made Leonardo more recognizable in the world of art. But what if we told you that there is more to this masterpiece than meets the eye? What if there's a secret code hidden within the painting? Stick around as we uncover the real story behind The Last Supper and discover the hidden code that still shocks viewers today. But before that, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. God is a common people. The Last Supper is a well-known religious scene that has been depicted by numerous artists throughout history. But what sets Leonardo da Vinci's rendition apart is that he didn't include halos on any of the characters, including Jesus. Can you believe it? In previous versions of The Last Supper, Jesus and his disciples were traditionally shown with halos, indicating their saintly status. However, Leonardo chose to ignore this convention and paint them all without halos. Some people think that he did this because he believed that nature was a representation of God, and therefore he treated all the characters as common people. It's a fascinating artistic decision that has sparked much debate and discussion over the years among art enthusiasts. Maybe John is a female. If you take a closer look at the painting, you'll notice that the disciple seated to the right of Jesus is often identified as John, who is described as the disciple whom Jesus loved in the Bible. However, some art and biblical scholars have speculated that this figure is actually a woman, most likely Mary Magdalene, disguised as a man. The reason for this is that the figure is the only one in the painting wearing a necklace or pendant, which many believe suggests femininity. It's thought that medieval Christian leaders renamed the figure John to avoid the controversy of having a woman seated in such an important position next to Jesus. In the painting, many of the figures on the right side of the table seem to be interacting with or looking towards the John figure, while Jesus is engaged with those on the left who are reflecting on the idea of betrayal. Additionally, if you examine the John figure closely, you may notice a resemblance to the Mona Lisa, which was painted by Da Vinci just 5 years later. The salty mess is symbolic. According to Matthew, the individual who dips their hand in the bowl with Jesus will betray him. In the Middle East Mediterranean era, a single bowl of sauce or olive oil would typically be placed on the table, and each individual at the table would take turns dipping their bread into it. Using a rectangular table for Christ and the disciples was a common artistic choice at the time. But did Leonardo da Vinci use it for another reason? You should never dip your bread when the person in front of you is dipping theirs. Judas accidentally knocked over the salt in the painting, which is unlucky. Spilled salt may represent bad luck, damage, spirituality, or Jesus as the salt of the earth. Da Vinci also arranged the people at the table in the pattern 3-3-1-3-3. It is thought that by doing so, he may have concealed a message. Spilled salt may represent bad luck, damage, spirituality, or Jesus as the salt of the earth. Composition. Leonardo da Vinci's artwork represented the moment when Jesus disclosed that one of his disciples will betray him. This is a novel approach to the scene, and the disciples' amazement and sadness are clearly expressed. The arrangement of the apostles in the artwork also helps to convey emotion. Bartholomew, James, son of Alphaeus, and Andrew are represented as astonished, starting from the left. Judas Iscariot, Peter, and John are all grouped together, each playing a significant role in Christ's life. This arrangement differs from customary depictions of the Last Supper, which normally place Judas alone or in the shadows. In the center of the artwork, Jesus is seen obtaining bread and wine, creating a triangle that portrays the Holy Trinity and the Divine Liturgy. Thomas, James the Greeter, and Philip are shown as astonished and seeking an explanation, while Matthew and Jude Thaddeus go to Simon the Zealot for answers. An unsigned duplicate of the picture has revealed the identities of each apostle. Herring or eel. Scholars have commented on Da Vinci's eating preferences. They argue about whether the fish on the table is a herring or an eel because each has its own symbolic value. The word for eel in Italian is arenga. Arenga, a similar verb, implies to indoctrinate. The word for herring in the northern Italian dialect is renga, which also indicates someone who rejects religion. This is consistent with Jesus' biblical promise that his apostle Peter would deny ever knowing him. Judas's representation in Leonardo's Last Supper Judas, the figure to the right of Jesus, and John in the artwork are shown in an unfavorable light by having a dark complexion and a crooked nose. He is also seen with a bag of cash, indicating that he was paid for betraying Jesus even though he was a notorious thief. Judas is also drinking milk, while the others are enjoying wine, which distinguishes him from the group and denotes his declining status. Judas might have been pardoned if he had been drinking wine, which stands for Jesus' blood and salvation. Leonardo, however, presents Judas as an outcast and an unforgiving person. Hidden message in the mirror image. According to tradition, artists use a geometric structure to plan their works, but this is usually not visible in the final product. However, in the painting The Last Supper, Leonardo da Vinci included a visible triangle as part of his composition. There is also a mysterious text at the bottom of the painting that is yet to be deciphered. In a mirrored image of the painting, some people claim to see a cup, possibly the Holy Grail, on Jesus' chest, while others claim to see an image of a goat or multiple goats. While this idea may seem strange, its validity remains uncertain. The painting is not a fresco. Many people mistakenly believe that this painting is a fresco. However, it is not. It is preferable to call it a mural. It is huge, covering an entire wall in the Santa Maria del Razzi refractory in Milan and spanning 15 feet by 28 feet. Rich tempera, a technique akin to colored chalk, is employed. In his examination of Leonardo's paintings at a later point in the Renaissance, historian Lamazzo makes a passing reference to the original method's use of dry pigments. Additionally, Pietro Marani notes that comments on this method can be found in Leonardo's notebooks. He notably makes reference to a memorandum in which Leonardo asks Jean de Paris for instructions on how to color with dry pigment. The current mural is not entirely Da Vinci's creation. A group of restorers, under the direction of Panin Brambilla Barcelon, set out to restore The Last Supper, Leonardo da Vinci's masterwork. In a dramatic turn of events around the turn of the 20th century, the painting had been treated to numerous layers of additional paint throughout the years, seriously harming the original artwork. The restoration process was no small task. The crew used cutting-edge equipment such as microscopic images, core samples, an infrared resectoscope, and sonar to complete the repair. One layer of paint at a time had to be removed painstakingly in order to preserve the original Da Vinci artwork as closely as possible. The theme of The Last Supper. Throughout the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, several artists portrayed the night of Christ's Last Supper. However, the Gospels were the only source of inspiration available to the artists at the time for these works. In addition, these descriptions don't agree with one another. In actuality, they portray the scene and the incident in fairly different ways. Other representations of the Last Supper frequently have a very bare and austere appearance. Leonardo would have seen several of these representations of the Final Supper by the time he began working on the commission, which would have influenced his own concept. King claims that this elevates the following features of the mural to extraordinary status. And that's a wrap. By using his extensive knowledge of mathematics, geometry, and symbolism, Leonardo da Vinci left clues for us to uncover centuries later. The discovery of this code adds a new layer of intrigue to an already fascinating masterpiece. What other secrets might be hidden in plain sight? Let us know in the comments section. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.